apologizes for respectful opposition and everyone represents. Known as Emmy today, I'm the first speaker for the affirmative team. I will support this motion called Should Autonomous Weapons Be Banned? So here, I'll just support this motion. What do you think about it? Have you ever thought that you just walk into a forest and then just go into your home and your country, or like Islam or any other country that you have today? Or maybe you just walk into your room, suddenly boom, bang, bang everywhere. You're just so scared. You got no room to hide, nowhere. Your house was just not sturdy. It was wood-like, and you were not living in professionals. You were living as stuck. How would you live in that situation? You don't have technology to support you. You don't have electricity. You've been broken down. You don't know what to do. How does war end? You got nothing to do. Your whole life is destroyed. So now what? How we survive in these calculations? Calculations, who will be responsible? So here, let's move on to our own motion. As the affirmative speaker, the opposition speaker like, okay, we just program this mobile. Second of all, we just have to make sure it's clear, but no one is actually clear. Like our camera, if you just put a camera up, sometimes there are accidents or problems. We just put on a button, crash. All it just work. We cannot do anything to stop that. So since including deadly conditions, this is a huge risk for people. Think if the opposition were in there too. What would the situation be? Is it maybe down to the ground or stuff? No. This will be possible and take time to dive into the ground and build a home, and electricity is even harder. We have even not invented it yet. So this is the problem my phobia of oppositions might have declared. Even though they program it and stuff, even though they track it and more. This is the type of problem that will never be fixed in the war when everything has started to the program. Okay? So let's move on to our definition today. So autonomous is select and engage target, and nobody we can stop. A human control will stop, and everyone will be losing condition. We will not stop that anyway. And these engaged people will really engage in targets and people. That will be hard to even control humans. So here let's start with banned. So what is banned? It's prohibition or develop products, and mostly we will stop that forever. Okay, so next, like law. So next we're gonna move on to our last and final word called weapons. Weapons is a tool, a system applies to lethal warfare, or it's really used in different kind of conditions like Cold War or War Day. So now let's move on to our framing. This is where things get complicated. If we just program everything, how can we control ourselves? People, they do not have every strength, and these robots or maybe AI technologies, they don't have any brain, okay? And we really need to stay under control of our minds. You see, the Geneva Conventions or as IHL Conventions are minority, and they say that robots, they lack morality and accessibility. Do you know why that? We can prove to why. And that if we just use weapons, these will lock out of all rules. This is the type of problem where you must be solved. Since to that, we're gonna explain it today in our opposite world. So now let's move on to my first argument called ethic and humanity. So okay, think about the solution I just tell you either. If you put the opposition to walk into your home, named normal and structured in this room, and then boom, bang, boom, every sound of guns loaded, glass break. There's glass just break. What's the deal? And the other houses were damaged. Dies, death. You're the only one. How even can you race? How even you can use electricity? This is even harder for people to this point. So here, when you find a situation, if you were opposition, this will be impossible to clearable. So now, I'll prove you are robots lack morality. So this is the claim we often have. Robots lack morality. But why is the situation that robots lack morality? Because most of the times they have some situation they cannot progress like humans does. Humans they know which is the other country, which is us, which is them, or which is like baseball or basketball, and know what the civilians and that not unless our team matters. But robots they have lack variety. When you see maybe they say, okay, this is my master, only my master, one people. And the others, commanders or villains, they attack them all, even siblings. We don't control them either. Once they are losing control, you cannot leave or program it anymore. It's even harder. You have to take out the battery, take out the instruments. So this was the result harder. So that's why robots lack morality. So here, if we have war with us humans, that would be loose out of control, and also they have dangerous actions became without robots and with all of that. So now I'll move on to my example. As the first, for example, agriculture. If the agriculture strong kills all the civilians in our country, the UN Libya in 2020, they have the drone accident and autonomously kills civilians. So the impact here is strong. These will be lost humanity in Libya, and the country will vote down. Everything will be lost. Structure. Even some president might be lost in the country. So let's move on to my last argument, called second argument, called accountability. So let's ask you the question for opposition. We ask you this question. If the AU commits to the war crime, who will be responsible? Okay, you might be like, okay, then we will have commander. Commander, we will have programmer, and even manufacturer. But here, if we have a situation where all these drones or things destroy everything, so who will be responsible for that? Even they might say, the opposition might say that, okay, someone might live, no one dies and everything. But here, people, and they die. When they die, we cannot commit their life back, like in games or in any progress of life we might see. Like if your pet died, how do you bring the soul back to his body and stuff, like magical, like Harry Potter or different like forms. This is not a film, this is reality, and we can control it. And all these robots, they actually lack accessibility actually. Sorry. So now, these are legal black holes for the global humanity if we use so much AI. So for example, Tesla autopilot. So Tesla is mostly a country and they have accidents, like a very raised accessibility issues. So the impact here is these justice and like the country, they will decline, and the citizens and the rules also decline. Their countries will even more smaller, deepest. It slowly turns into jam like that. In conclusion, people control robots. The robots lack morality and stability. How can we trust them? How can we prove their rights? No one can even program it so much. This is even harder and more complex. No one can be always so brilliant at 2025. Thank you.